Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm not outside Old Trafford or in the studio. I am in my kitchen, and the weather here in sunny Salford is not so sunny. Lots of Manchester United news to get through. Most of the news and stories focusing on United's win away at Southampton, a much-needed win for Erik ten Hag. I think you've had most of the quotes. You've seen them on our socials from the press conference, but there are a couple of stories doing the rounds regarding that win and what it means and what's happening injury-wise. So we will get into all that. Before we do, though, make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We want to get to 800,000 subscribers, and with your support, we can get there. Now, another big story doing the rounds this morning. We can call it a story. It is a story. It's a big social media thing, but also a couple of pundits and papers have picked up on it as well. Is Jadon Sancho? Yes, you thought Jadon Sancho was out your hair. Now that he's gone to Chelsea, well, he's not, and it's still a big talking point, not just for Chelsea fans, but also for Manchester United fans, because Jadon Sancho, he made his start. Well, not a start, I should say. He played 45 minutes, the second half, against Bournemouth for Chelsea yesterday, and he was player of the match. He assisted Christopher Nkunku with the winner for Chelsea, and he got player of the match, which automatically means everyone is awash with saying, did Erik ten Hag make a mistake? Was this a blunder? Some people insinuated that there was a bit of a sort of a subtle dig at Erik ten Hag with Jadon Sancho's post-match comments. I didn't really see that. Also, some saying that Enzo Maresca, when he was talking about how Jadon Sancho needs to feel love, was that somehow having a go at Erik ten Hag? It depends how you look at it. You could argue that. You could say it's a little bit of a dig at Erik ten Hag, a little bit of a dig at Manchester United. But we spoke about Jadon Sancho probably almost more than any other player on this channel since before he even arrived at Manchester United. We know what went on with Jadon Sancho and how it didn't work at Manchester United, and it wasn't working at Manchester United. It wasn't just under Erik ten Hag. I don't think Jadon Sancho had a particularly good time at Old Trafford under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Ralf Rangnick, for that matter. But at Chelsea, he's certainly got off to a good start. So this asked a few questions, raised a few questions, as in, did Erik ten Hag do the right thing? Should he not have tried to make it work? Did he do enough to make it work? And have Manchester United got enough attacking options to justify allowing Jadon Sancho to leave? Now, I was just looking at some of the stats from our other attackers as well. Now, it's not just the Jadon Sancho decision that Erik ten Hag has made, which is a big one. There's also the Antony one as well, because he's more or less sort of given up on Antony. I don't think there's any secret that Erik ten Hag no longer feels he can trust his £80 million signing or whatever it was, which is another big call. It is a bit of a gamble here for Erik ten Hag, because he's basically said, right, Jadon Sancho, it's not going to work with you. We'll move you on. Goes to Chelsea. I think it's a loan, then a permanent move. Antony, there was talk of him being moved on. That didn't happen. He has stayed at the club, but he isn't getting many minutes at all. It looked like he was going to come on against Southampton, but then I think there was an injury later on. I think it might have been the injury to De Ligt or someone else that changed the approach to that, so he didn't end up coming on in the end. But he's not really getting any minutes. So it seems like Erik ten Hag is saying, look, my attacking options are Marcus Rashford, Amad Diallo, Alejandro Garnacho for the wide places anyway. I know you've obviously got Joshua Zirkzee, and when he comes back from injury, Rasmus Højlund. Now, is that a gamble? Because you look at those players, the likes of Garnacho, the likes of Diallo, very young, don't have a lot of Premier League experience. Now, I was looking at it. In terms of Antony, the reason that Antony doesn't get any games is he's just not been effective enough. He just hasn't. He's got 5 goals in the Premier League in 55 appearances, and I think 3 of those goals came in his first few games, which says a lot. He's got 3 assists in 55 games. So, what was that? 8 goal involvements in 55 games? I mean, it's not great. Also, I know it's not his fault because there's other players on the pitch as well. But in 55 appearances, United have lost 19 games, which is a lot in the Premier League. I know we have lost a lot of games, but he's been part of that as well. So you look at it, you look at the other issues. Maybe the manager just doesn't feel like you can trust him anymore. And I get it. I'm not Antony's biggest fan. The question is, though, can you rely on others? Because also, you've not just sort of given up on Antony. You've also said, well, Jadon Sancho's not my guy. Now, Jadon Sancho in the Premier League, his record is better than Antony's. It's 59 appearances, 30 wins, 7 assists, and 9 goals. But it wasn't just about the numbers. There was many games where Jadon Sancho just didn't look at it. Obviously, in that first season under Erik ten Hag sent him away to the Netherlands to get some training or whatever it was, get himself in the right frame of mind, perhaps, to come back to Manchester United. Then there was the fallout after the Arsenal game, and it pretty much became untenable. So the other question is, can you rely on the players we have got? Now, look at Alejandro Garnacho, who obviously was on the score sheet against Southampton. He's got 61 appearances, 11 goals, and 7 assists for Manchester United. Considering a lot of those appearances as well have been off the bench, I know they have for other players, that's not too shabby. And also, he's a player who always gives his all, and he's still very young. I think he's, 20 years old? So he's on the sort of the beginning of his journey, if you will. So I can understand why Alejandro Garnacho gets minutes, gets appearances, and he's one of the players that Erik Ten Hag trusts. Alejandro Garnacho is, yeah. Amad Diallo is the one where you think, okay, can you trust Amad Diallo? Is he a player that you can rely on if you have given up on Anthony and you've let Jadon Sancho go? Well, looking at Diallo, the numbers don't tell you the full story. 16 Premier League appearances, 2 goals, 3 assists, 6 wins, 7 losses. But a lot of the time, it's been a substitute appearance. He's been feeding off scraps. When he has started for Manchester United, we have seen it this season, how effective he can be, including against Southampton. He had a very good game, Amad Diallo, and it's not his first good game this season. He's obviously got his goal against Brighton. When he came on as well against Liverpool, he was probably our best player. He is a player that can create chances, can get in behind, can run at defenders, can get the crowd going. Yesterday, he created 6 chances. That's pretty impressive. 6 chances in a game, and he got an assist. A very good afternoon for Amad Diallo. So I can understand why Erik Ten Hag looks at Diallo, looks at Garnacho, and thought they're probably better options for me than the likes of Jadon Sancho and Anthony. The other player as well, of course, is Marcus Rashford. We know Marcus Rashford has had a difficult time of it. However, he did get a much-needed goal yesterday. I think it was his first goal in, 12 games in all competitions? His first Premier League goal this season. He's been a bit unlucky that he hasn't had an assist so far, but his performances haven't been great. Much, much better for Marcus Rashford yesterday. Hopefully, he can continue in that vein of form and sort of kick on and out and get his season going, because we know what he's capable of. Working with Ryan Hopper, of course, won't hurt him as well. Up the RH, a friend of the channel who came on the channel the other day to tell us about the work he's been doing, Marcus Rashford. You can go and check that video out. There's a story here in the Express, I'll get to in a minute. But first of all, get involved in the chat and the comments. Let me know what you think about how Erik Ten Hag has handled it with these attackers. Was it a mistake to let Jadon Sancho go? Should he have tried to make it work? Because that's what some people are saying on the back of that 45 minutes against Bournemouth. Is there still a player there in Anthony? Do you feel like he still can rely on him? We might see Anthony against Barnsley, because it's going to be a bit of a mixed bag in it in terms of players. So I don't know. Personally, I don't think Anthony's good enough, certainly not for the Premier League. Let me know what you think. Just on other stories as well here. It says here in the Express, Man United injury crisis may force Ten Hag to make uncomfortable requests. Talking about the injuries we've got in defence, there's sort of questions regarding, I think it was the Ligt, Mazraoui and Martinez all look like they picked up some sort of knocks. We don't know the full story. We'll get a full update on it probably ahead of the Barnsley game. There was talk here in the Express, could he ask Casemiro to drop into defence? You've still got, I think, Johnny Evans there. You've still got Harry Maguire there. Diogo Dalot, I think he's still fully fit. Maybe you could turn to someone like Harry Amas, who played a lot of preseason games and did very well too. He can come into that left-back position. So I'm not sure you would have to ask Casemiro to fill in defence. And we saw it last season, Casemiro in defence. For me, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the Jadon Sancho sort of decision. Let me know what you think about the wingers we've got available. How impressed have you been with them? Do you think the likes of Garnacho, Diallo and Marcus Rashford are enough to carry Manchester United forward this season? And also, give me your shouts and thoughts on the defensive situation as well. It is kind of troubling that we're already in this predicament, if you will, where we're a few games into the season and we're looking over our shoulders in terms of injuries going, who are we going to pick? What we're going to do? I'm going to leave it there. Don't forget to check out all the post-match reaction from yesterday. Go and check out the other vids as well, including that interview with Ryan Hopper, where he talks about coaching and training Marcus Rashford during the international break. A bit of training that seems to have paid immediate dividends. I've been Jay Motty. This has been the Paper Talk from a very rainy Salford in not so sunny Salford. Thanks for watching.